It's Nolan. Hey, we ain't got a lot of time left. If the rap game fall, bet I did this shit to death. No motivation to stretch it. Focused on ethics, try to survive in my section. Shit is depressing. Used to care about niggas. Now I give a fuck about your whereabouts. Publishing, I'm clearing house, nigga. Music on shows, I'm on Paramount, nigga. Killing every rapper breathing, and I'm bailing out quicker, single-handed. Never panic, I get disbanded, reprimanded, ass-handed, then they vanish. Hip-hop, nigga, I perfected every element with 4-finger rings on. Call me Captain Planet. Street shit done. These niggas scum, I don't appreciate none. Nigga thinking nigga stunt. Came from a village, bumping Dilla in the slum, moving on another pillar. I'm the realest that they come. I don't need no squad. My rap clean like Pino on the beats like Ringo Starr. Blast on niggas like Beano bars, doing numbers in the bank like bingo cards. My respect level lower, next level flow us in the text. Bitch, your ex come and blow us. Old school niggas still dressed in below us in the jet, watching Plex while I flex on them niggas that's below us. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Now, in this particular video, we're going to be switching gears a little bit. I know everything is circulating around Kendrick Lamar. He's getting all the talk, the chatter, the think pieces, the layers peeled back on the project, all that good stuff. And I'm here for all that. We're going to continue to update as things go forward and also figure out what his next move could be. But in this video, we're going to be talking about J. Cole and how, unfortunately, his whole inevitable release and the mixtape releases from his catalog that have been relaunched on streaming platforms has kind of been overshadowed due to Kendrick Lamar's timely drop or untimely drop for Dreamville and Dreamville fans. But I do want to give acknowledgement to J. Cole for making these moves, for providing his fans with the nostalgia, for giving the stories that people didn't know behind the scenes. I do want to correct myself from the last video that I made, because I said that him and Drake have found themselves in some, in a position where they got to look back to kind of set their footing forward. Although it does appear that way. This inevitable series that J. Cole recorded was actually recorded in 2022. So this is something that was in the pipeline for a while. But I guess all of this is leading up ultimately to the fall off. This was probably already in the pipeline that they were going to put out. But based on the way that this year turned out and all of that type of stuff, J. Cole does have an uphill battle to kind of, regain the favor and regain the hearts of the general hip hop consensus. Now, do I believe that J. Cole fans ain't rocking with him? I wouldn't go that far. I think some people have hopped off the wagon, but I don't know if they are, diehards like that. Or maybe they are. I can't say for certain, right? But if you are one of the people that have listened, or if you plan on perhaps one day going and listening, you do have to pay for the inevitable series, by the way. I also didn't speak on that because I didn't know it at first. You have to put up a minimum of $10 in order to gain access to the inevitable audio series where he's recapping his life, times, career, all of that type of stuff. The episodes are being uploaded every couple of days. So it's not like a Netflix show where you're just going to get everything all at once. It is audio, but it's actually very entertaining. It gives you a lot of insight. It gives you a lot of the behind the scenes of like what we witnessed as fans or as people that were clued and tuned in, but you didn't really know what was going on behind the camera, right? So it is a very dope series, right? Episode 1 is called The Come Up, right? And of course, The Come Up is J. Cole's first real mixtape. Before The Come Up, Cole was rapping. Cole was doing his thing, back in Fayetteville when he was in high school. He was with this crew called the Bomb Shelter, which kind of turned around and became a tribute of his later on in his career, because that's what he ended up calling his studio, the Shelter, where they record a lot of the Dreamville music at. But he has this dream to go to New York, ends up going out there for college, and he's kind of keeping it hidden that he raps. He's just moving around a little bit, telling a couple folks here and there, but he doesn't really know how to go about getting on, and he doesn't want nobody to like step in and shit on his dream, right? And he also didn't want to be like a stereotypical rap nigga that's just like in your face rapping all goddamn day. So he was kind of balancing school with music, but also kind of being hesitant to like really promote himself, to put himself out there in front of people, right? So they actually detail the process of coming out with the Come Up, the mixtape, which innately was from E, his now manager and partner in Dreamville, basically saying, hey, bro, you got these songs and shit, after he eventually was able to hear it, because J. Cole ended up sliding some music in while they were chilling in the car. And E was like, yo, who is this? On some like, this shit fire. What the fuck? I ain't never heard it. Cole then reveals, yeah, that's me, bruh. And then eventually like, hey man, you ever thought about putting out a mixtape? Like, you got to get your shit out here. So that's dope. They go through the process of Cole recording to Come Up, kind of moving around, still balancing a lot of different things, meeting a couple folks in the industry, Mark Pitts and a couple other folks eventually. This wasn't immediate. This is later down the line. But they start circulating his music a little bit. And eventually they get with DJ, DJ On Point, who was also the DJ for Joe Budden's Mood Music series. And putting it out. And as they released the episode detailing the process of making the Come Up mixtape, they also released the mixtape to Come Up on streaming platforms. So if you were to go and check on any DSPs, whatever your preferred one is, and you go to J. Cole's page, you're going to see the Come Up there. And it's interesting because the Come Up is primarily a mixtape comprised of industry beats. Depending on how old you are, this is like the LimeWire era where you could go on LimeWire and look up your favorite artist tracks. You could also look up your favorite artist instrumentals. I'm of that era. The J Arms era, instrumental mixtapes and stuff like that. So he produced a couple records on there, but the most of it was freestyles over other niggas' beats. But they went ahead and did all of the behind the scenes work to get the proper clearances from the artists, their teams, the producers, etc., so that he could get it up, which is dope because we're starting to see a resurgence of those old mixtapes being re-released on streaming platforms rather than them being left in the servers of Live Mixtapes, Dat Piff, and other websites that are subject to either they've already been removed or if they haven't, they probably will be, right? Then you got episode 2, which is Lights Please, which gets you kind of Come Up era, right? But then coming off of the Come Up, J. Cole has this batch of songs that he refuses to put out, right? Because he feels like this stuff is too strong for me to just give it away on a mixtape. And I don't even have an audience yet. So he had certain songs he was willing to put out. He had certain songs he was willing to make new ones. But he had a certain batch that he was like, nah. Lights Please is one of those songs, right? And eventually, Lights Please is the song that got J. Cole signed by Jay-Z. That was the one that actually stood out. That he was like, I need to meet this guy. But prior to that, he had handed Jay-Z a demo. He had handed him beats. He wanted to produce for American Gangster. It was a no-go. Nigga ain't even listen to the shit. Nigga tossed it. Well, he ain't tossed it. He said, get that shit to Lenny S. And Lenny S, wasn't really trying. As he was trying to give his little spiel to Lenny S, Jay-Z was on the elevator saying, yo, what the fuck you doing? Signaling for Lenny S to keep that shit moving. So basically they start going through that process of like, all right, damn, Jay-Z just shut us down. This was the dream. Now what the fuck do we do? Right? So then um they start pushing the come up in the college circuit. J. Cole is going back and forth between his New York school and he went to fucking St. John's, right? So he's going back and forth from New York, St. John's, and then going back home to Fayetteville or North Carolina. They're going back home for like those college football classics and all that different type of stuff where they be tailgating and having these big events and stuff. So they shipping getting copies of the CDs so that they could take it out there and go down south to the football shit and get the CDs off. And basically they talk about how they weren't giving them away for free, but this was the original idea for the Dollar and a Dream. If y'all remember Dollar and a Dream, J. Cole did that tour where he was going from city to city, state to state, doing $1 shows, but it was only a certain amount of people that could get in. Like you either you catch it when you can, and when it's sold out, right? Because he had gotten so accustomed to doing these big, large shows and expensive tickets and stuff like that. He was like, yo, I want to make sure my day one fans in these cities that we've been overlooking have an opportunity to come see a show, and we're going to make it super affordable. It's $1, right? But the original Dollar in a Dream was giving the Come Up mixtape out for $1 at these different events and at these different football game tailgating experiences and stuff like that, where he started kind of making his bones as an artist. All that's great, right? Episode 3 is the warm-up, where you get into the warm-up. I haven't listened to episode 3 yet. Episode 2, he also talks about meeting Drake, their friendship, their silent competition, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Drake came on the scene and how Drake had so many fans on MySpace, and he didn't understand that he was already like an established actor off the Grrrls, so he had kind of a fan base of people that were willing to follow him off of the TV show to see what he had going on. They were listening to his music. He had a song with Trey Songz. He had all this stuff going on, and J. Cole was like, damn, how is this nigga getting all this traction out here? What the fuck? Right? So then that put another battery in his back, like, yo, this nigga's popping. I need to get my shit out here. So for people out there that may wonder why J. Cole and Drake have a kinship to this day, I know a lot of people don't respect his connection with Drake, especially with everything that played out this year. I've been neutral in how I look at J. Cole because I've said it the whole time. I'm like, yo, he fucks with both niggas, as in Kendrick and Drake. I know everybody doesn't understand that. Maybe everybody hasn't been caught up in a situation where two of your friends or two people that you perceive as friends are beefing. But I can understand how that can play out. And it's like, yo, I really don't want to get involved with what y'all got going on if it ain't necessarily being directed at me. But I fuck with both of y'all, and I'll try my best not to talk to you about the other motherfucker when I'm around. You know what I'm saying? And some people will say, nah, fuck that. And that's your prerogative. That's on you. But he knew Drake first anyway. So let's keep that in perspective as well. Because him and Drake met in like 2008. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't like they was super close right off the bat, but they kept running into each other, and he was keeping up with homie's career. And by the time Drake put out So Far Gone, he was working on the early stages of the warm-up. And when So Far Gone hit the scene, he like, yo, the shit that I was thinking about putting on this warm-up, we're going to have to step it up. Because this nigga basically dropped an album as a mixtape. I got to come with some stronger records if I'm going to be able to stand up. Because basically Cole was looking at the rap game. And this is like post 50, post Kanye, post everything that was going on. So we're still, you know, you got Cam, you got all these other rappers that are out. And hip hop is still pretty rough around the edges, pretty tough. And Kanye was like the only, well, Kanye, Lupe, and then you had like the Little Brothers of the world, and it was a whole underground. But it was only like Kanye and Lupe that was like getting mainstream love while also being like different, not the tough guys, right? And he looked at it like, okay, Kanye is the nigga in that space, but he don't rap to the same degree that I do. So this is like a wide open lane. I could play like both sides of the fence. I could play the lyrical bag. I could play the intelligent college bag. But I'm kind of like all of these things. So he saw a lane for himself while not having to be like the tough nigga. But then Drake splashed out there and it made him like, oh shit, it's another nigga out here kind of competing for my lane. Now, if you look at their careers and the way they played out once they got signed and put out their discographies professionally, I don't think you would really compare their music all that much other than like Dark Lane demos from Drake or like the For All the Dogs, the deluxe shit that he put out. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, he don't really bar up on his albums like that. So you wouldn't compare their discographies like that. But early on, Drake was kind of trying to appease a lot of different things while being not the tough guy, right? Over time, the people he got around, they kind of encouraged him to kind of, you know, take on personas. And the End of the Lights, Please, which was episode 2, leads you into like the crafting of the warm-up. And as they put the warm-up episode out, which I'm going to be listening to tonight probably, they released the warm-up on streaming on Friday and got overshadowed by Kendrick Lamar's GNX. So I just wanted to talk about this because I feel like it is being overshadowed. It's not being talked about as much. It's definitely somewhat of a minor story based on what transpired this weekend. But J. Cole is still a pillar. He's still, I don't give a fuck. He's still part of the big three. He helped originate it. So out of that, I still want to cover what he has going on. I still want to cover like I went back and fucking, before it even went on streaming, I went back and listened to the warm up. I'm like, damn, I forgot how good this project is. Shit. You know? So it brought back a lot of memories, like where I was when I heard it. I didn't even fuck with Cole when I first heard it, because when I seen him and heard him, the only thing I could think of was like, damn, this nigga's like another version of me out here. What the fuck? Niggas gonna say I'm influenced by this nigga. They gonna say I got my name, J Nolan, from him and everything. I was already motherfucking J Nolan. Shit. But putting that aside, I'm like, damn, this nigga hard though. You know what I'm saying? So salute to them putting the work in to like get this stuff up. It's hard for a lot of artists to get them old mixtapes on. Now, the warm up is more so an original production from Cole. But again, you got to think about the sample clearances from that time. The fact that he put it out for free may have pissed off some of the original rights holders or some of the original artists that he might have sampled and stuff like that, to go back and retroactively try to get all of that stuff done. I'm sure that took a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? So if you are a Cole fan and you haven't already ran back to warm up and to come up, go ahead and, you know, hit the DSP, stream that motherfucker, go through your nostalgic moment, and get back up to speed. And we're going to see what J. Cole's next move is. Is he going to drop a single soon? Is he going to drop a music video soon? Is he going to move into the fall off era? Also, while we're talking about Cole, a video has surfaced of Memphis Bleek talking about J. Cole getting signed to Roc Nation and getting a bit more freedom with his music and to make the decisions that he wanted to with his songs and how he wanted to wanted to present himself as an artist. And unfortunately for Bleek, during the time when he was coming up with Jay on Rockefeller and stuff like that, and he was much younger, he didn't have that same free reign over his career. He didn't have the autonomy over himself to make the decisions or choose what singles and songs that he wanted to go with and stuff like that. So there was actually a point in time where Bleek said that he was hating on J. Cole. Like, that he was feeling some type of way, like, damn, why he get to, like, do that? But my career was basically, you know, I won't say halted, because who knows where Bleek would be if he didn't get the fast lane from Hove. But his career was basically decided by Jay-Z's decisions, more so than a J. Cole, who was able to come into the industry, do a lot of what he wanted to do, and also take his bumps and bruises, because I think at the time, the single that J. Cole really wanted to push was Who Dat, which will also be addressed in one of the upcoming episodes of Inevitable, because, you know, Who Dat is still one of my favorite J. Cole songs. It was the song that J. Cole wanted to, like, really push him. He thought it was going to catapult him to the top. It was going to be a hit record, and he was going to be able to go into the Sideline story based on that record. But comparatively speaking, for the industry, it was a flop. Now, for the people that love Cole and people that loved Cole during that time, that was a massive fucking song to the ones that were tuned in. But for people on the outside looking in, it was like, okay, the nigga can rap. What else? Which sounds crazy, but that's what it was. I ain't gonna lie, I was like super confused. And I'm like, damn, the song ain't even on the fucking album. What's going on with that? But I think that's the record that Bleek is talking about, that Jay-Z had something else in mind. Cole wanted to go with Who Dat. Bleek was watching from the sideline. And Jay-Z was like, shit, well, if you feel strongly about it, then I guess you can rock. And Bleek was like, oh my, what? How? Let me go ahead and pull up the clip of this nigga talking about this shit.
Thing I could say, I keep it real, man. Always. Like, and Jay always loved this about me. You know, people let jealousy brew inside of them and it becomes envy. And they be envious of a person, and that's where it spills and breeds hatred. Well, me, I'ma tell you when I don't like something, even if I'm jealous about it, I'ma let you know, damn, fam, you bought that car, that shit hard, fuck that car. Who would do to have that? You know what I'm saying? I just gotta get it out my system so I don't be hating on you, dog. I hate you to your face. Right. So I remember when something happened with Cole and Jay was telling him about, you know, picking doing a certain single first. And Cole was like, nah, I believe in this record. And Jay was like, okay, well, if that's what you believe in, like, we're gonna go with what you believe in, you know? And that right there was like, that irks you a little bit. This nigga get freedom? Like, I had no say so, because I remember when I didn't want Memphis Bleek to come out. They was just looking at me like, and you gonna stop what? So it was that moment. It was that the freedom J. Cole had. You know, I was 14, so I always grew up with the guy. I got introduced to the game with the guidance, but I wish I had a little bit more freedom. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? A little bit more. And then, you know, who knows? You know, Jay probably learned from those same situations. Definitely. And applied them to that in the new role. Probably, who knows? But still like yo, to see Cole say that and get his was like, whoa, like you probably sitting there like, I've seen this before. I was like, yeah, Jay gonna shoot that down. He's like, nah, whoa, what just happened right there? Word. Yo, man.
Now, as you can see, Bleek ain't coming from a place of negativity. He ain't coming from a place of malice or like he wanna, you know what I mean? Because there's some people that, based on the way that their careers turn out and stuff like that, they could be sour for life. Sour grapes, sour apples, Sour Patch Kids, Sour Patch old niggas. You know what I mean? Based on how things go. But Bleek is a good spirit. He's still working with Jay. You know, he's got a role over there at Duce and stuff like that. He's back putting out music again independently and shit like that. Got a label off the ground. You know, if y'all remember, the nigga Casanova was signed to Bleek. Casanova was a big deal out there in fucking New York. I wasn't a huge fan of his music, but he was kind of trying to bring that whole 50 Cent type vibe back. And unfortunately, at the height of him kind of getting it out there, he got locked up. So I don't know who else is fucking with Bleek at this time over there at Warehouse. I know there's like, you know, under the Rock Nation umbrella and shit like that. But Bleek is living good, man. If you ever check out what he got going on, nigga always traveling, nigga always doing some shit with his wife. And, you know, they don't be doing cheap shit. That's what I do know. So shout out to Bleek, who's been able to parlay his position into, you know, he ain't living fucked up. There was a point, Bleek even mentioned, you know, about a decade ago that he was fucked up and he went back to the streets for a little bit. So to see that how he flipped everything around and is living pretty good life now, salute to him. And he ain't got to hate on motherfucking J. Cole no more. You get what I'm saying? But again, he said it in the clip. He was fucking around at 14 when he made his appearance on Reasonable Doubt, Coming of Age. A few years later, his first album is coming to fruition, 17, 18 years old. He don't really know nothing outside of what his OGs is telling him. He didn't have an opportunity to go out there and like market himself, have to put out his own music, have to go get his own deal, all of this different type of stuff. He wasn't that guy. So, of course, Jay-Z and Bleek, Dame Dash even alluded to this not too long ago. Bleek's verse on Coming of Age, that record on Reasonable Doubt, was written by Jay-Z. So he didn't even come in spitting his own shit. So, of course, if I got to write your shit, I got to help you with this, I got to help you with that. No, nigga, you doing what's going to work. We leading you to the promised land, as much of a promise as I could give you. As for Cole, he put the groundwork in. He developed himself as an artist. He produces his own shit, or produced a lot of his own shit anyway. He had to go to the internet. He built his own buzz. He had interest from other labels that wanted to fuck with him outside of just Jay-Z. So yeah, there's a different type of leverage that comes with that certain artists from yesteryears just weren't able to have, because they didn't come in with a lot of, chips in their favor. Cole had the chips. Cole took his lumps, bumps, and bruises. That first album, Sideline Story, is not my favorite of his discography, but he had to make some adjustments after Who Dat didn't do what it was supposed to do. He was reeled in, and Jay-Z had to like put him on timeout to say, yo, we can't put this album out till you can give us a hit record to launch this with. So he had to go figure some things out, and then Workout ended up being that thing, and then he let Nas down. You know? So, interesting thing, but I definitely gotta go listen to more of this Inevitable series to hear him speak more candidly about all of those experiences, because I see Who Dat is an episode. I can't wait till Who Dat drops so he could tell that story a little bit more in depth than he ever has before. But again, let me know what y'all think about all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one, all right? Much love, respect, y'all. Peace.
King of my city in cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mile. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. When I catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.